All right. Hello, everybody. I just got done with another ketamine infusion. I can tell just by already speaking that my speech is a bit slurred, and I'm going to do my best to not be annoying with that. But I literally got done. I got started at like 4:30. It's now 6:30, and it went for like an hour. So maybe an hour ago, I actually finished the infusion or so. Something like that. So bear with me. I think it's also worth noting that I'm not going to say anything profound in this video. If you've seen other videos about people who just finished a ketamine treatment, well, you've heard everything I'm going to say before. But if not, I'll just tell you how it went. So actually, some interesting thing happened, which I realized was going on. Was that I kept falling asleep during the infusion, which is kind of funny because I didn't realize that's what was happening. Like the first time for sure I didn't know I was falling asleep, but then it's like I fell asleep at least twice during the infusion, and the second time I woke up and I was like, I don't know, I just realized that like I was completely not conscious for the last like X amount of minutes or whatever, which I just thought I thought it was funny, but didn't really mean anything. I guess the other important piece of information is whether or not I feel better. I don't. I don't feel not depressed. I feel the same as I went in, though. I had an interesting thought on the way home, which was different than my normal train of thought, which was like I was just kind of like more relaxed about things, more relaxed about the future, more relaxed about like my career. I'd say career definitely gives me like the most stress because you can kind of derive, in my opinion, you can kind of derive most of a man's meaning from his career. It's like that's how you support a family. That's how you kind of define yourself in this world. And I don't know, I just kind of felt more at ease with that. So I guess that's some sort of step in the right direction. But did I wake up feeling like magically not depressed? No. But I will talk about, at the end of this video, I will talk about some things I've been doing that have been helping with depression. And I can say that with confidence, and it's not just one of these like hopeful things. So some problems that were already like kind of burning in my mind kept coming up. The reason I'm mentioning this topic is because they always tell you to go in there with like an intention of like you have to think about what you want to solve, but my intention is just if I can find the root of the depression, I'll do it and I'll handle that problem. But in my case, when I believe I've been depressed for about 20 years since I was a kid, I don't know if that's like the most beneficial thing to do. I think the way that I think about my depression is that like my car needs a jump start. It's like I got in a crash and all of my parts have been fixed. Like my thinking is fixed. I think I've got a pretty good thought process for like staying happy. But just because you fix all the parts in a car doesn't mean the battery's running. Like the battery might still need a jump start, and that's kind of how I feel about my depression. So anyway, it's like I had some insights about the way that I think about things, and I had some insights about like, oh, well, this might be a more true way of thinking about things, or that idea wasn't necessarily true, and maybe this is a better way to think about it. But it has nothing to do with you guys. It has stuff to do with like my own philosophy of the world, but it doesn't really impact anyone who cares about depression and ketamine. One thing I will say though is that like I think psychedelics can help you reach the ideas that you want to reach faster. So it's like it can bring abstract ideas into focus. And I'd say that did happen to me to an extent. though I didn't get to write anything down because I was quickly met with the urge to vomit because I have motion sickness problems. But despite that, I think it has some psychedelic purpose of like it can bring like abstract problems into focus or just abstract thoughts into focus, which is great. But I absolutely don't think that's like that important for depression, unless you're just someone who's like riddled with depressive thoughts, which I don't think I am. I'll talk about intention. So I kind of set an intention, but I didn't take it that seriously. To be honest, I was enjoying a lot of the trip. I was like, just at some point, I was just like really enjoying the music, and I was just like, this is awesome. This music is really enjoyable, but it didn't. The intention I set was to like try to figure out how to go from the state of like depression to not depression, like, because basically my depression is all energy. Like I never have any energy and I always feel down, but I don't have bad thought patterns. So my intention was to figure out, how do I get my physical energy back? How do I feel good? And I just kind of forgot about the intention because I was just like caught up in other things, and it just didn't seem that important. Which is maybe fault can be placed on me, but the way that I look at ketamine is that many people who are much, well, I'm just going to say something kind of rude, much dumber than me, have gotten really good results from ketamine just because they took it and it had nothing to do with like what they were thinking about. And it's like, I don't think I need to think better. I don't think I need to like be slightly less negative, and that will solve my depression. Or I don't think I need to like think about some trauma that I might be able to dig up when I was a kid, and that'll solve my depression. I think I just have like a messed up battery, whatever that is that needs to be jumped. So I didn't really get much benefit from that trip, but maybe part of me is slightly less pessimistic because I see things slightly more clearly. But I think a lot of these like psychological breakthroughs people have on ketamine, I think someone who's like very self-aware and intelligent could find these psychological breakthroughs without the use of drugs, which I believe I have done for the most part. That's not to say I don't still have things to learn about myself, but I think I'm kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel now. It's like I've done all of the self work, and I just need to like boot this damn machine up and get it going. So now I'll talk about some other things I did recently to help depression, and this actually did help. So one theory that I have, this is going to be a bit of a tangent, but one theory, so you can skip this part if you don't want to. One theory I have is that your body could naturally recover from depression if you stopped forcing it to do things with willpower. So my whole life, I think you can get into a really bad cycle with depression of like you feel worse, so you have less energy, and then you get less done, but then you realize that you should be getting more done, and you just kind of feed on into this like bad cycle of low self-esteem equals more depression equals less done equals lower self-esteem, and it kind of circles around. So I've been very at peace with the fact that I don't have energy to work, and I don't feel bad about that. I know that when I'm not depressed, I'm very ready to work. So I'm just like, well, this is who I am at the moment. So I've been sleeping a lot, resting a lot, watching movies a lot over the last week, and I actually do feel better. I feel better than I have in a while. And that could just be from extra energy. Maybe that's a bad premise or bad conclusion that it's psychological, but I definitely have more energy, though I'm still not motivated to work or do anything productive. I still, I woke up feeling better than I've felt in a long time. Definitely not, I'm not free from depression by any means, but just by sleeping, resting, not putting pressure on myself to be working, I have been feeling better. Next is vitamin D. I tried supplementing some vitamin D, so either one of these could be contributing to the better mood. I'm not sure which one is doing more, or if one, for example, is doing nothing. Next is creatine. When I took creatine 4 days ago now, I started it 4 days ago, and I continued for 3 days on a small dose. And on those 3 days, I was like more productive in those 3 days than I've been like for several weeks before. And according to what's his name, Andrew Huberman, is that his name? I don't know his name. But I guess there's been like studies about creatine's effects on depression, which I had no idea about. I just took creatine coincidentally, and it was helping my depression a lot. So I stopped because it was like, I'm pretty sure it's making my hair fall out, because it can do that to men who lose hair. Like if you have the gene, it could speed things up. But it's worth noting that creatine definitely improved my mood and made it possible for me to get some degree of work done that I wanted to, and it was enjoyable compared to the normal state of depression where nothing is enjoyable and you absolutely have zero motivation to work. So that's the end of the video. Have a great day.